everyone, Onita here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 to part 1 of popular YA books or popular YA series I have not read yet. The first popular YA book series I would like to read whenever I get the chance to is the Legend series, starting with Legends by Marie Lu. I would also like to venture into Marie Lu's other books because they do sound quite fascinating and interesting. What was once the Western United States is now home to the Republic, a nation perpetually at war with its neighbours. Born into an elite family in one of the Republic's wealthiest districts, 15-year-old June is a prodigy being groomed for success in the Republic's highest military circles. Born into the slums, the 15-year-old Day is the country's most wanted criminal, but his motives may not be as malicious as they seem. From very different worlds, June and Day have no reason to cross paths until the day June's brother Matthias is murdered and Day becomes the prime suspect. Caught in the ultimate game of cat and mouse, Day is in a race for his family's survival, while June seeks to avenge Matthias's death. But in a shocking turn of events, the two uncover the truth of what has really brought them together and the sinister lengths their country will go to keep its secrets. I think it's dystopian, this series is. It was quite popular way back, quite a few years ago, and I just have not caught up with the popular books yet, and I would like to do that sometime. Next one is a fantasy romance kind of thing. It's gotten quite mixed reviews, but nonetheless I'm still interested in reading it, and that is Serpentine by Shelby Maher. I believe it's part of the Serpentine series. I don't even know what the series name is, but Serpentine the series. 2 years ago, Louise LeBlanc fled her coven and took shelter in the city of Caesarine, forsaking all magic and living off whatever she could steal. Therefore, witches like Lou are hunted, they are feared, and they are burned. Sworn to the church as a chasseur, I think it's French, so if I pronounce some words wrong, I apologize. Reed Degree has lived his life by one principle: thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. His path was never meant to cross with Lou's, but a wicked stunt forces him into an impossible union, holy matrimony. The war between witches and church is an ancient one, and Lou's most dangerous enemies bring a fate worse than fire. Unable to ignore her growing feelings, yet powerless to change what she is, a choice must be made, and love makes fools of us all. It sounds like enemies to lovers, which I'm realizing I'm quite enjoy. And yeah, it just sounds really good. The past few books that I have read this year have had some sort of witchy vibes to it. Not completely full-on witchiness, but there have been a couple of books where there's definite, implying that there could be, some sort of witchiness and sort of, magical ability type of thing. So I'm very curious to see how I feel about Serpentine, because, like I said, it's a series that has quite a few mixed feelings. People either love it or hate it or just think it's meh, and I'm curious to see where I fall into that category. The Ash Princess Trilogy by Sebastian. Theodosia was 6 when her country was invaded and her mother, the Fire Queen, was murdered before her eyes. On that day, the Caesar took Theodosia's family, her land, and her name. Theo was crowned Ash Princess, a title of shame to bear in her new life as a prisoner. For 10 years, Theo has been a captive in her own palace. She's endured the relentless abuse and ridicule of the Caesar and his court. She's powerless, surviving in her new world only by burying the girl she was deep inside. Then one night, the Caesar forces her to do the unthinkable. With blood on her hands and all hope of reclaiming her throne lost, she realizes that surviving is no longer enough. But she does have a weapon. Her mind is sharper than a sword, and power isn't always won on the battlefield. For 10 years, the Ash Princess has seen her lands pillaged and her people enslaved. That all ends here. Ooh, god damn it, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? I've heard quite a few good things about this one. Sebastian is a completely new to me author, and it seems like this series is kind of underrated, yet also I have seen it around quite a little bit. Now, I do have around 3 middle grade series on here that I've bundled up with the YA series. The Eragon series by Christopher Pallini is one of the first middle grade series on this list that I would like to read. Funny story, I actually did get the book. It was for pretty cheap, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'll get around to reading it. I since unhauled it because who knows when I will ever get the chance to read it. Eragon series. One boy, one dragon, a world of adventure. When Eragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Eragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the Empire itself. Overnight, his simple life is shattered, and he is thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power. With only an ancient sword and the advice of an old storyteller for guidance, Eragon and the fledgling dragon must navigate the dangerous terrain and dark enemies of an empire ruled by a king whose evil knows no bounds. Can Eragon take up the mantle of the legendary dragon riders? The fate of the empire may rest in his hands. The Percy Jackson series, which is Rick Riordan's other books, have really interested me, but when it comes to like author's first books or author series, I prefer to go to their debut, like their first ones. So the Percy Jackson series is one I want to start off with, and also Rick Riordan's other books as well because they seem quite fascinating. And also there's like a Disney Plus TV show of Percy Jackson. I don't know if it's been greenlit to get the go-ahead to start the production, but since there is the possibility of a TV coming out, I would like to at least start the series. Don't know when, but I'm hoping to sometime soon. Percy Jackson is a good kid, but he can't seem to focus on his schoolwork or control his temper. And lately, being away at boarding school is only getting worse. Percy could have sworn his pre-algebra teacher turned into a monster and tried to kill him. When Percy's mum finds out, she knows it's time that he knew the truth about where he came from, and that he'd go to the one place he'll be safe. She sends Percy to Camp Half-Blood, a summer camp for demigods on Long Island, where he learns that the father he never knew is Poseidon, god of the sea. Soon a mystery unfolds, and together with his friends, one a satyr and the other the demigod daughter of Athena, Percy sets out on a quest across the United States to reach the gates of the underworld, located in a recording studio in Hollywood, and prevent a catastrophic war between the gods. And the last middle grade book series I have on this list is the Northern Lights series. I believe, depending on which continent you live in, whether it's like UK or America, the first one is either The Golden Compass or His Dark Materials. I think for Australia, let me have a quick look, shall we? Yeah, His Dark Materials is what the first book in the series is in Australia. Lyra is rushing to the cold, far north, where witch clans and armoured bears rule. North, where the gobblers take the children they steal, including her friend Roger. North, where her fearsome uncle Asriel is trying to build a bridge to a parallel world. Can one small girl make a difference in such a great and terrible endeavours? This is Lyra, a savage, a schemer, a liar, and as fierce and true a champion as Roger or Israel could want. But what Lyra doesn't know is that to help one of them will be to betray the other. That sounds... And the one thing that all three of these middle grade series, Eragon, Percy Jackson, and the Northern Lights series I have all watched the first movie. Like the movie adaptations like Eragon, Percy Jackson, and The Golden Compass was the original first movie with Daniel Craig, I believe it was. It's been so long ago, I don't even know if those opinions would hold up, and because I hadn't read the books prior to watching the movie, I wouldn't know if they're actually good adaptations. The Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. This is a world divided by blood, red or silver. The Reds are commoners ruled by a silver elite in possession of godlike superpowers. And to Maher Barrow, a 17-year-old red girl from the poverty-stricken Stilts, it seems like nothing will ever change. That is until she finds herself working in the Silver Palace. Here, surrounded by the people she hates the most, Maher discovers that despite her red blood, she possesses a deadly power of her own, one that threatens to destroy the balance of power. Fearful of Maher's potential, the Silvers hide her in plain view, declaring her a long-lost Silver Princess now engaged to a Silver Prince. Despite knowing that one misstep would mean her death, Maher works silently to help the Red Guard, a militant resistance group, and bring down the Silver regime. But this is a world of betrayal and lies, and Maher has entered a dangerous dance. Reds against Silvers, Prince against Prince, and Maher against her own heart. Seems like it could be enemies to lovers romance, and also it seems like it might be political as well. I hear that this is a high fantasy as well. It is one that has intrigued me before in the past, but like obviously with every book you are going to read there are going to be people who don't like it, but some of them there were quite a few negatives that people have said about this series, and I don't know why I listen to them, because I usually don't. If I enjoy something, I will just read it. So I think it's about time I actually start, listening to my own gut and actually read it, because it does seem like something that I would really enjoy. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I think it's a trilogy, and that is by Laini Taylor. Around the world, black-haired prints are appearing on doorways, scorched there by winged strangers who have crept through a slit in the sky. In a dark and dusty shop, a devil's supply of human teeth grows dangerously low. Okay, I don't know why someone would want human teeth, but okay, intrigued so far. And in the tangled lanes of Prague, a young art student is about to be caught up in the brutal and for goodness sake, speak woman. And in the tangled lines of Prague, a young art student is about to be caught up in a brutal otherworldly war. Meet Karou. She fills her sketchbooks with monsters that may or may not be real. She's prone to disappearing on mysterious errands. She speaks many languages, not all of them human, and her bright blue hair actually grows out of her head that color. Who is she? That is the question that haunts her, and she is about to find out. When beautiful haunted Akiva fixes fiery eyes on her in an alley in Marrakesh, the result is blood and starlight, secrets unveiled, and a star-crossed love whose roots drink deep of a violent past. But will Karou live to regret learning the truth about herself? I've heard Laini Taylor has incredibly beautiful, flowery writing. I love flowery writing. Some of my favorite books have flowery writing, like The Starless Sea is one of my favorite books, and it has incredibly flowery. Flowery is such a hard word to say. Anyway, like I said, The Starless Sea, my favorite book, actually has flowery writing, so I've been meaning to get into Laini Taylor's books after hearing about Strange the Dreamer, and stupid idiot me should have bought the first editions of it, because those first editions are stunning. The recently released ones, not so much, but anyway, I'm an idiot. We will all know that soon enough. The Raven Cycle series, starting with The Raven Boys by Maggie Stevada. It is freezing in the churchyard even before the dead arrive. Every year, Blue Sargent stands next to her clairvoyant mother as the soon-to-be-dead walk past. Blue herself never sees them, not until this year when a boy emerges from the dark and speaks directly to her. His name is Gansey, and Blue soon discovers that he is a rich student at, oh goodness me, Aglian B. Apologies for the pronunciation, or mispronunciation. The local private school. Blue has a policy of staying away from Aglian B boys, known as the Raven Boys. They can only mean trouble. But Blue is drawn to Gansey in a way she can't entirely explain. He has it all: family, money, good looks, devoted friends. But he's looking for much more than that. He is on a quest that has encompassed 3 other Raven Boys: Adam, the scholarship student who resents all the privilege around him; Ronan, the fierce soul who ranges from anger to despair; and Noah, the taciturn watcher of the 4, who notices many things but says very little. For as long as she can remember, Blue has been warned that she will cause her true love to die. Shit. She never thought this would be a problem, but now, as her life becomes caught up in the strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys, she's not so sure anymore. And that is exactly how I feel about this series. Like, I'm not really sure if I will enjoy this or not. It does have a bit of a mystery surrounding it. Like, what is so troublesome about the Raven Boys? A lot of people love this series. It's a lot of people's favorite series, and I want to see what all the fuss is about, because that is a part of this video, you know, reading or popular books I have not read. So, the Graceling Realm series, starting with Graceling by Kristen Cashaw. Katsa has been able to kill a man with her bare hands since she was 8. She's a Graceling, one of the rare people in her lanes born with an extreme skill. As niece of the king, she should be able to live a life of privilege. But graced as she is with killing, she is forced to work as the king's thug. She never expects to fall in love with beautiful Prince Poe. She never expects to learn the truth behind her grace, or the terrible secret that lies hidden far away. A secret that could destroy all 7 kingdoms with words alone. Interesting. I know there's like a 4th book in the series that's come out, Winter Blue. Or is it Bitter Blue? No, the Bitter Blue is the 3rd one. Something to do with winter? Something? Anyway, I don't entirely remember. But yes, and this has been on my radar for a little while actually, even before I started doing BookTube. And each book in this series follows a different character. And I'm very curious to see how that will go. Like, will the other characters be as strong like in the first one or not? So I'm very curious to read it. We are up to the last 2 books now, people. The second last book series is The Diviners by Lebar Bray. The dream chooses the dreamer, not the other way around. And no! Was that correct? Great. Did I just like fuck up? Yes, I did. I don't know what the hell happened, but that is not the synopsis of what The Diviners is. Okay, I have the actual proper synopsis. Let's get on with it. 1920s New York, a teen clairvoyant, an old evil. It has begun. Evie O'Neill has been exiled from her boring old hometown and shipped off to the bustling streets of New York City. And she is positively thrilled. New York is a city of speakeasies, rent parties, shopping, and movie palaces. And soon enough, Evie is running with glamorous Ziegfeld girls and rakish pickpockets. The only catch is that Evie has to live with her Uncle Will, curator of the Museum of American Folklore, Superstition, and the Occult, also known as the Museum of the Creepy Crawlies. I like that. When a rush of occult-based murders comes to light, Evie and her uncle are right in the thick of it. Even Evie's new pals, Hoofers, numbers runners, and activists, but all swell kids, are drawn into the investigation. And through it all, Evie has a secret, a mysterious power that could help catch the killer, if he doesn't catch her first. Boy, am I really excited to read this series. It's completed, so most of the books in part 1 and part 2 of this video are completed, so that's a big plus. Most of them anyway. The Diviners, look, this sounds like right up my alley. New York, big plus. 1920s, I guess you could say another big plus. And just the occult and like the witchiness and like witchy vibes sound like really speaks to me. And we're up to the last one, ladies and gentlemen, and other people that don't identify as such. And that is the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. Ellingham Academy is a famous private school in Vermont for the brightest thinkers, inventors, and artists. It was founded by Albert Ellingham, an early 20th century tycoon who wanted to make a wonderful place full of riddles, twisting pathways, and gardens. A place, he said, where learning is a game. Shortly after the school opened, his wife and daughter were kidnapped. The only real clue is a mocking riddle listing methods of murder, signed with a frightening pseudonym, Truly Devious. It became one of the great unsolved crimes of American history. True crime aficionado Stevie Bell is set to begin her first year at Ellingham Academy, and she has an ambitious plan. She will solve this cold case. That is, she will solve the case when she gets a grip on her demanding new school life and her housemates, not roommates, the inventor, the novelist, the actor, the artist, and the jokester. But something strange is happening. Truly Devious makes a surprise return and Deathray visits Ellingham Academy. The past has crawled out of its grave. Someone has gotten away with murder. I don't think I've ever read a YA thriller series before, or just a YA thriller in general. Actually, I have since unhauled it. No, is that a part of a thriller? Actually, yes, I have read some YA thrillers, and this one has been met with such high praise that I'm just very curious to find out what's going to happen. And that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching if you have gotten this far. Oh goodness me, what series do I want to read the most? Well, probably the Ash Princess Trilogy. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, definitely. That just sounds interesting. It's in Prague. She's like an art student. That sounds really awesome. The Diviners and also Truly Devious. They are the ones that speak out to me a little bit more. Who knows when I will get to reading them, and the fact that most of these are completed series is such a big plus because I can just marathon like one book a month, hopefully. Hopefully, because I don't know when I'll get to these books. Hopefully within like 10 years, hopefully. We will see, but anyway. And that is all. Thank you very much. Again, thank you. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Have you read any of these series? And if so, did you enjoy them? And make sure you also check out my social media. That is linked down below in the description box. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.